Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm trying something new out for us. What I'm doing is I'm introducing Nick Metcalf's Standard High D whistle that comes in this beautiful tube. It's a great tube. Nick, love it. Anyway, I'm introducing this whistle, but I'm also talking about, and I'm using this whistle as my example, talking about what do you do when you get a brand new whistle? How do you start figuring it out? And so that's the two things we're doing in our time together today. So, when you get a brand new whistle, you hardly ever, I don't want to say never, you hardly ever pick it up and just start playing it amazingly and perfectly. You have to figure out how the whistle wants to be played. Breath pressure, you have to get it comfortable in your hands. And so what process do I go through when I get a brand new whistle? And so I've not spent time with Nick's. This is his Standard High D that he sells. I bought one. I've not spent time with this yet. And what I want to do is I'm going to talk about the process I go through to acquaint myself with a brand new whistle, to figure out how it wants to be played and how I will play it. And I want to share that with you as my introduction to Nick Metcalf's Standard High D. I'll provide a link at the top of the notes to this video to Nick's store, and we'll talk about pricing and availability and all that at the end of this video. So please hang with me. But my goal is to let you know some things about this beautiful whistle, but also to inform you about at least my process of acquainting myself with a new whistle. And if you have anything else to add, friends in the group, please stick them in the comments to the notes to this video. So, how do I acquaint myself with a new whistle? Well, the first thing I do, and I pulled this out of this, again, this is a beautiful tube. What a great carry case for a whistle. And it's got a little lining in it to make sure it's not banging around in there. So, as with all of Nick's whistles, he has some beautiful artistic design work, nice metal body. I look at the whistle. How does it feel in my hands? This is nicely balanced. It feels quite light in my hands. I look at the head. What's it made of? This is a plastic or injection molded something or other. Now bear in mind, this is Nick's entry-level whistle, and we'll talk about his range again at the end. And so Nick's doing what he can to make this an affordable entry-level whistle for us. But as a high-end whistle maker, Nick's also bringing a lot of that expertise down into his standard whistle. It's a beautiful finish with some nice little ridges on there. It feels really nice in my hand. I'm looking at that. I'm looking and I'm seeing a little curved windway. The airway's a little longer, but that impacts the sound some. The tone hole's got a nice long blade there. I'm looking at that. That looks good. I'm looking at everything. It's light. It's nice. So the head also tells me, with that being all plastic at the head, then getting metal down in the body, because it's right up in here that condensation would occur. So this is not going to be a whistle I'm going to have condensation issues with. So it feels good. I've looked at all that. Now, after looking at it going, ooh, ah, I then, the next thing I do is I play a scale. Feels comfortable in my fingers. my third and fourth fingers, if you could see, are like almost touching each other, and that's okay. That's not an issue. The hole size is good. The fourth hole is actually reasonably small. The holes aren't huge on this, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We're about to find out together. I'm going to play a scale and interrupt myself if I feel like I need to say something as we do that. So let's listen to this together for the first time. All right. So I often start off with lighter breath pressure. And I think this standard whistle wants me to give it a little more oomph. So let's see what that does. Woo! This is not a quiet whistle. But I like how I was able to play all the way up and down. It can be played quite loudly. I don't know if you gathered that. But I didn't feel like any of the notes were a huge challenge for me. So, some of the less expensive whistles, you're going to fight the upper octave, or it won't be consistently in tune. And I'm not intending to stereotype, but there are certain manufacturers where I just say, this is made by Nick Metcalf. It's going to be in tune. And it sounds very consistent to me. I haven't checked it, but I don't feel like I have to. Let me run that again, see what I'm feeling. Do an arpeggio. Okay, I changed my mind. I just started blowing a little softer and harder in the low D, and it's got a little bit of an overtone hum to it. You might be able to hear. So there's a specific range within which the tone quality is going to be happier. So I'll have to learn that about the whistle. You're not going to learn a new whistle overnight. Honestly, you're not going to learn a new whistle in a week. When I get a new whistle, this is a quick aside. When I get a new whistle in, I like to spend a couple of weeks with it to really get to know it before I introduce it to you. Because I'm really reluctant to pull a whistle out of the package and start playing it and tell you that's what this whistle plays like. And so I really encourage you to go to Nick's website. Again, I'll provide a link and listen to Nick play it. But bear in mind, Nick's a professional musician. The majority of us are more normal people playing. So, but right out of the package, I'm really quite happy. So for the money, it's a lot of bang for the buck. Okay, you may not have noticed as I'm sitting there on that A, in the second octave, it wanted to have some overtones until, and the tone wasn't as clean as I wanted until I leaned into it. So it's a lot. This whistle kind of is already telling me it wants to be pushed some, but it's also already telling me that this is not a primarily clean tone. This is leaning a little more traditional with some fuzziness, not airiness to it. So Um, Okay, so if I'm doing a crayon on the second octave D, I don't want to push it too much or it's going to crack. So these are things you're figuring out. Yeah, see, a little breaking there if you're pushing too hard. So there's going to be a right moment at which to hit this. These are things as I pick up a new whistle, I start messing around with what are the ornaments doing? How does the whistle respond when I do that? Did I push too hard? Did I not push hard enough with the air? So I'm trying all those things. Now I want to play a tune on it, and then we'll start winding our conversation down. I'm going to play the Dear Irish Boy because I haven't played it for a bit, and it's a great fun tune. I'm going to get right back into it, but you may or may not notice, so I wanted to tell you that I'm varying my breath pressure some to get a feel for how the whistle's responding in the middle of a tune. And it's responding very well. That was me. All right, that's really nice. Um, I pushed it. I backed off on it. I pushed some of the ornaments. It responded very well. Actually, I found mid-tune the ornamentation and my varying the breath pressure responded better than it did when I was just experimenting. And that's probably because I wasn't trying so hard. A lot of times you're going to figure out how to play a whistle by just playing the thing. So anyway, a couple of wrap-up points. If you're interested in an entry level, around the $50 mark, just under, price point for a standard low D, this is really great. I'm missing one of my whistles out of that price point, or I would compare it with the others in that range. And when I get another whistle that I've loaned out back that's in that price point, I'll probably play Nick's along with some others. But I think this is beautiful. It's got a great tone. Bottom to top plays well. You could play expressively. You could push it. Nick's out of New York. This whistle, at the time I got it, $46.79 plus shipping. You go to his website and he provides a number of finishes and options for the standard whistle. And you go to the website, when you select store, it'll show you what whistles he has available. Because I don't know for sure if Nick's a one-man shop. He might be. When you press store, it's going to want to take you to his eBay store. Nick, he's got the standard low D and he's got the standard high D now. But for the most part, you'll see a lot of pretty expensive whistles. Nick spends a lot of time making wood low and high D whistles. some pretty whistle sets, and so you'll really enjoy looking around his store and seeing some of the other stuff he has available. And I'm going to introduce one of his wooden whistles coming up soon with 2 other wood whistles, which I'm real excited about. But anyway, if you're looking for what I would say that I think Nick may call a beginner whistle that's going to serve you well up into your intermediate playing, then Nick's Standard High D is definitely one to put on your list. But always, what's the tone sound like? So I'll put a link there at the bottom. Nick, as I said, does a wide range of whistles, and you can also hear him. He's got a lot of videos. You can hear him playing. Does some great stuff. He recently put out an album of hymns, and so that's pretty fun. I appreciate very much his work. One of those I wish I was in New York, so I could go hang out with him for a bit. So remember, you need to think about, do I like the tone of that? And I hope I shared that with you some. Again, go and listen to Nick play it. But to quickly review my process, when I get a brand new whistle, I look at it. What am I expecting out of it? What's it going to do for me? I see that curved windway. I see plastic head. I already know about condensation. I see the longer blade. I see that the size of the tone hole there, and I'm thinking volume already. I'm looking at the holes. I'm feeling how my fingers feel. How does this balance? Wow, that's really pretty. All that goes through my brain. Then I'm playing a scale. How do I play the scale? I'm backing off on my breath. I'm leaning into my breath. And I'm trying to see what the whistle's telling me. The whistle's telling you things as you blow into it. And then I'm playing a tune, and I'm listening, and I'm feeling, and I'm experimenting. And all the way through that, the whistle's telling me how it wants me to play it. And then I do that for over a week before I feel like I really know the whistle. And obviously, it's not the only whistle I'm playing during that time. But I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share Nick's Standard High D with you, but I also wanted to share with you my process of how I learn how a whistle wants to be played, as as I used to say, become friends with it. But I like when one of our friends comments of, how does this whistle want to be played? Great comments. Anyway, I'll put a link to Nick's store at the top of the notes to this video. Availability, I looked right before starting this video. He doesn't have any available right now, but they're often in stock. He's probably had a big Christmas rush. And so look for Nick to have them back on the shelves real soon again. I've paid attention to his store on and off over many months, and the availability of different whistles changes depending upon how fast they're selling. And some whistles are one-off custom whistles too. So anyway, the standards will be back on the shelf really soon, and by the time you're watching this, they may be there already. So go to the link and check it out. It's got a great website as well. It's helpful. Till next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.